So proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleam.
What it do, what it do, what it do. How y'all doing, man? You know what, man? I'll be honest with you, man. With all that's going down and all that stuff like that, you know, it's really, really getting crazy. Really getting crazy, man. You know, the way the world is, all all this smoke and mirrors and all this good stuff. It just never ends, man. It always just winds up becoming more deeper and more deeper and more deeper. I'm trying to find my hold on. Yeah, that one. Okay. Then take this off. Hold on. Okay, that's better. All right, man. Let me do a little bit of sharing and stuff like that. But the world in general, man, I mean, it's a very, very crazy place anymore. And it's really, really hard to, what would I say, navigate through all this bull crap that we're going through, all these distractions, and, you know, I mean, it's crazy on how things are starting to happen in the world. And we got to wake up. We got to wake up a lot to what's going on inside the world in generalization, man, because it's not looking too good. But at the same time, it's not looking too bad because in all aspects, we are at a crossroads. We're at a crossroads that, that it's a 50-50 chance in what happens, you know? And I'm sitting here trying to put all these clips and all these clips and all that stuff that's for all the stuff that's happening. And the news is just going so fast that I had to do like random things, and stuff. And also it's kind of hard not having a producer and stuff like that. So you just gotta do it all yourself, you know, and do the best you can with it, you know? So let's start with the most trending thing that people are sitting there talking about. And what people are talking about is this what you call a this submarine. The submarine that happened on Sunday, and they lost contact with it. All right. Meanwhile, while all that was happening, okay, the IRS did its own investigation on Hunter Biden. This wasn't sanctioned by Trump. It wasn't sanctioned politically in any way. And let's start right there, on the for real. And we're getting to a lot of different stuff too. So, it's kind of crazy that, all this is happening at the same time. But meanwhile, as this is all going down with the submarine, you know, let's sit there and take a look at this right here. All right. Let me put this in. Uh, let's hit it.
The federal government is not treating taxpayers equally when enforcing tax laws. The whistleblowers were working on an investigation into Hunter Biden that
Make America great again.
Seems almost
Let me get
critical. Forward. As each remark comes out, and yet we're told on mainstream media to pay attention to a submarine, pay attention to anything else, weather, bad weather, all kinds of storms happening around the earth, but don't pay attention to what is being put out constantly. Distractions are everywhere. They don't want you to hear all this.
with evidence that the federal government is not treating taxpayers equally when enforcing tax laws. The whistleblowers were working on an investigation into Hunter Biden that opened in November of 2018 as an offshoot of a separate corporate investigation by the IRS. Let me emphasize, this was an investigation in the ordinary course of work at the IRS. It was not ordered by
Remember, this is meanwhile everybody was on the submarine thing.
any individual, any chairman, or any political entity. The testimony we released today shows the IRS recommended charges against Hunter Biden that included attempt to evade or defeat tax, a felony, fraud or false statements, a felony, and willful failure to file returns, supply information, or pay tax. These tax crimes cover an estimated $2.2 million in unreported tax on global income streams to Mr. Biden and his associates from Ukraine, Romania, and China, totaling $17.3 million from 2014 to 2019.
Now, Trump has
Mr.
nothing
Biden
to do with this.
personally
Remember,
received $8.3 million.
So all this comes out.
so it's 18.3 million dollars. All right. Where's the money? Where's the money, yo? Where is the money?
Paul Sperry shows us breaking through an iCloud search warrant. The IRS agents obtained a July 30th, 2017 WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden and to a Chinese partner, Henry Zhao, in which Hunter wrote, "I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled." They verified that the authenticity of Hunter Biden laptop in November 2019 by matching the device number against Hunter Biden's Apple iCloud ID. Agents notified the IRS the laptop likely contained evidence of tax crimes, according to the transcript. And the IRS investigation of Hunter Biden, codenamed Sportsman, first opened November 2018 as an offshoot investigation the IRS was conducting into an online pornography ring, according to transcript of IRS whistleblower deposition. So it seems like something important, and folks probably should pay attention to it. And would it be a crime? You guessed it. You know my thoughts on the IRS.
Now, that being said, that being known, let's get back to the sub. All right. So, anyways, you have a submarine that's shaped like a banana, made from carbon factor. I mean, I'm carbon fiber, a little bit of titanium, off the counter stuff, and ran by Xbox joystick. Okay, you're going 2 miles down. Everybody knows that water pressure pushes in because it becomes heavier. It's just the mass of water and all that of it going together. It goes it goes molecular and all that stuff like that. But basically, the further down you get, the heavier, more dense it is going down. All right. So, number one, let's go with the joystick, okay? The joystick and a Bluetooth joystick, why I can't get myself to believe that was it. Just ran by a joystick, let alone going under inside the ocean. I mean, going underwater, 2 miles down, and running on something that is cordless. You know, being a gamer myself, and I like to play games, but if it was something more at stake, I would at least have it plugged in. You know, I mean, that would be common sense to the system. Um, Common sense would tell me that the perfect apparatus to go at that depths would be a sphere because all the pressure would be equally around it. That's why most subs are spheres, you know, and they wanted to put a banana. Okay. Now, this is the multi billionaire and all that stuff like that, right? Multi billionaire making submarines to do tours to see the Titanic for $250,000 a pop. And it's as safe as using a joystick for an Xbox. All right. If I was going to make a submarine, I'd make sure that I'd have the best stuff, man. You know what I'm saying? And the first person I would call would be Elon Musk. You know what I'm saying? Because he knows that I know that he knows that everybody knows that the strongest for integrity is something that's a sphere, especially inside water or space. It doesn't matter. It's perfect. You know? So that being said, as the rhyme gets rougher and the rougher goes on, all right, let's go to this submarine. All right. Now, what makes all this come together? Why do I smell 1917 all over again? Which I really do, and I'll tell you why pretty soon. You know what I'm saying? But now it's like, what makes it so significant about this Titanic? Let's see, man. Let's see.
programming tools. It's almost like they have this program set up so that when they need distractions, they show it and they say, well, we're going to use this whole thing one of these days. Maybe they knew who they were going to use it on beforehand. Who knows? PJ Williams said a bunch of people are cheering that 5 rich people died today. Meanwhile, the Pentagon misplaced $6 billion. Sam Bankman-Fried, FTX's 5 charges quietly dropped by the feds.
And
BlackRock and JP Morgan set up a central bank in Ukraine. Another one came out, and I'm just going to skip around, folks, so you can just hang in there if you would. We Know Your Game said, how in the world did we all miss this tweet? Elon tweeted, OceanGate Titanic Submarine Company on June 8th, 10-day warning. I have more to share. Elon has coded the submarine. Found 622. There's a Starlink. Elon Musk retweeted, internet from space supporting Titanic dive expedition. Despite being in the middle of the North Atlantic, we have the internet connection we need to make our Titanic dive operation a success. Thank you, Starlink. All this while Leonardo DiCaprio testified against Obama and the Titanic started trending the night after. And then you've got Hillary Clinton tried to overthrow a duly elected president. All of that playing out with Durham, and the Titanic submarine came up missing. It's all over the news. They don't really want to bring up Durham that much, right? Remember the historical list of Titanic survivors, and the victims is disinformation. So now we hear that someone on the sub is related to the Strauss who went down with the Titanic, ? Who's really going on? What's really going on? Is this all made up to get everyone talking about the Titanic, and that the ones who died on the Titanic who had been standing in the way of the vote on the Federal Reserve funny money system, the same Federal Reserve that has put America trillions in debt, which has been stolen from us? Let's tell everyone about it then. How convenient, Ultra Pepper Lives Matter says, that the entire world was focused on a submarine the entire time that the John Durham testimony revealed that our 2-tiered system of justice cannot remain as it is without accountability. So here's, we're talking about relationships with those on this particular deal. Check it out.
Of a passenger on board the Titan, the relationship to 2 Titanic victims. Many of us have probably read about this along the way. We have now confirmed that Wendy Rush, the wife of Stockton Rush, which is the OceanGate CEO who's on board the Titan, is a descendant of Ida and Isidore Strauss, 2 of the wealthiest first-class passengers, many of us will remember, who died when the Titanic sank in 1912. Wendy Rush is the great-granddaughter of Ida and Isidore Strauss. He was a co-founder of the Macy's department store in New York, and Rush is descended from one of the couple's daughters, Minnie Strauss, who married Dr. Richard Weil, and their son's son, Dr. Richard Weil III, is Wendy Rush's father, again, the wife of Stockton Rush, that OceanGate CEO there. The Strausses, you'll remember, Brad, for many of us who have studied the Titanic history, and many of us more recently now, the Strausses are remembered because they chose to remain on the ship, on the Titanic together, as Ida Strauss refused to get on one of the few lifeboats as crews were trying to save women and children. Paul Kurzman, a great-grandson of them, has also told Fox News, James Cameron's version of the Titanic depicts their love story we can all remember.
Okay, enough of that. 5 people on the missing submersible. Hamish Harding, Shahzada, and Solomon Daiwo. The U.S. Navy knew the Titan was destroyed since last Sunday, but let the story clog the newsfeed all week.
right.
Taken away from what? The J.P. Morgan deleting emails, Joe Biden impeachment, Pentagon misallocation of Ukraine funds, Hunter Biden charges, John Durham congressional hearing.
The United States Navy knew that the folks that were on the Titan were dead. They've known since last Sunday. A U.S. Navy detected what was likely the Titan explosion on Sunday, according to an official. The U.S. Navy acoustic system detected an anomaly Sunday that was likely the Titan's fatal explosion, according to a senior military official. The Navy had gone back to analyze its acoustic data after the Titan submersible was reported missing last Sunday. The Navy passed on the information to the Coast Guard, which continued its search because the Navy did not consider the data to be definitive. They've known all week that them folks were dead. They didn't put this out earlier this week. They didn't put it out Sunday when they got the memo. They've known all week, but they decided to wait to announce it until JP Morgan Chase was fined by the SEC after mistakenly deleting 47 million emails. Because of those deleted emails, the report indicated that JP Morgan is now unable to comply with at least 12 civil securities related to regulatory probes to comply with subpoenas and document requests for communications because they've been permanently deleted. Furthermore, you should research the actual Titanic sinking and JP Morgan. You all were right. This was an orchestrated distraction.
Orchestrated distraction, to say the least. As you guys know, David D. Rothschild joined the Ocean Gate Board of Directors back in October 9th, 2012 announcement. Also, some other things, quite interesting, Patriot Voice, that the wife of Ocean Gate CEO is directly related to Issa and Ida Strauss, founders of Macy's that perished on the Titanic in 1912. What's even more interesting is that the Strausses were on their way to a meeting in the U.S. to attempt to stop to the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. They opposed the idea, likewise, other richest titans of the time, John Jacob Astor and Benjamin Guggenheim. Then the Titanic sank. The dots, oh, how they connect. All connecting one at a time.
Entire Mueller team does a hard reset on their Apple phone in synchronization.
Now, this right here is kind of crazy. This is meanwhile everybody's watching all this sub information that was happening. And I've been watching this dealing with this Durham case, which this was him reporting on a report that he did. And Gates was very, very interesting on this. And this stuck with me.
To wipe away evidence. Did you investigate that?
I've read that.
Why did you investigate it? Who gave the order on the Mueller team to wipe the phones?
Yeah, that was not something that we were asked to look at, and we didn't.
No, that's not true, Mr. Durham. That is not true, because I'm holding a document that authorizes your activity, and it specifically says the investigation of Special Counsel Robert Mueller. It's in Mr. Chairman, I seek unanimous consent to enter into the record the order that says that you're supposed to investigate these things. And so, like, whether it's the Mueller team, MIFSUD, how about Azra Turk? Azra Turk, what's Azra Turk's real name? You know that?
I'm not going to be disclosing the names of FBI personnel that are otherwise unavailable.
But an FBI, so the FBI sends somebody to go honeypot George Papadopoulos. Who gave the order to do that?
I think that's beyond the scope of what's in the report.
It's literally the scope of what your charging order is. Who put it in motion? We get after it was put in motion, the FBI did a bunch of wrong and corrupt things. Totally understand. We're trying to deal with that. But when you are part of the cover-up, Mr. Durham, then it makes our job harder.
Yeah, well, if that's your thought, I mean, there's no way of dissuading.
Part of the cover-up. So Matt Gaetz, in case you guys didn't know, breaking news, Deep State Durham.
So, a lot of people ain't really showing that and all that stuff like that. You know, but everybody's sitting there saying, is this a PSYOP? Is this a PSYOP? And you know what? Yes, this whole thing's a PSYOP. Everything from now on, as you see, things are not as what they seem. You know, that you really have to, you know what I'm saying, move by spirit than by your own sight. You know? Because number one is because everybody's playing their ace of hearts, man. Everybody's playing their ace of hearts. You know? And you gotta, I mean, you gotta be, everybody gotta get with it, man, because you know what? People are appearing to tell the truth and they're not telling the truth. People are lying and telling the truth. I mean, this is all just smoke and mirrors, and no one knows who to believe, where it goes, and all that stuff like that. Now, all this stuff with Biden, all this stuff with the Dorm report, Yeah, it was a good. The Durham report was good, but what did do? But what else did Durham know? Or the question could be, you know, who is who else is investigating on the outside? Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama. Who else is doing an investigation? We don't know. But everybody's sitting there talking and all that stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's good to put your speculation or plausible speculations or whatever you want, you know. You know what I'm saying? It's okay to sit there and put your tinfoil hat because we're trying to conspire. We're trying to conspire a theory and turn it to which a theory is basically a hypothesis. And everybody's trying to put together their educated guesses. Okay, granted, it's all groovy, it's all cool. You know what I'm saying? But while all this is going on all week, only thing we seen was his submarine, Biden's impeachment, Schiff being censured. All this stuff is happening, but everybody's mind was on the boat. Now, the thing that's really, really, really getting me, you know what I'm saying, is this. Russia. Russia, Russia, Russia. Everybody jumping for joy because there's a mutiny. And I smell 1917. I smell Nicholas and Alexandra all over again. I smell another communist revolution. You know? I mean, think about it. All right. You have George Zorro. He's not allowed in Russia. None of the centralized banks are even allowed in Russia. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is trying to change to a centralized Fed coin cryptocurrency while they're attacking Bitcoin and all those other organizations, right? You have different states that's moving their moving their money to gold back, like Texas, I think Oklahoma, you know, moving their cryptocurrencies back by gold bullion. You know what I'm saying? To at least compete, you know. All these countries are sitting there put, putting the pedal to the metal and also putting the pedal to the metal on our gun rights. You see, meanwhile, everybody's sitting there paying attention to a boat that sank in front of the Titanic. All right. Now, after that is over, they did that on Thursday. Friday, the new news cycle comes out the next morning. Not even 24 hours later. All right. We have a coup with the Russian army. Long time ago, I asked this question, and Putin first when Putin first invaded Ukraine, you know, and I says, do Russia have a deep state? I didn't look at my past videos. I asked that question. Do Russia have a deep state? Because it was kind of funny as I was sitting there watching this, basically this mercenary group free prisoners to fight for Russia, which is not said which is not said on the news. But when you sit there and really do your research and stuff like that and look at it, that's true. So this guy really has no ranking in the Russian military. Okay. Now, that being said, you have you have these people trying to turn on Russia. They're sitting there saying that Russia bombed them, which Russia didn't bomb them. Why would Russia bomb them? There isn't no motive for them to do it. I don't see a motive, and there was no motive for them to even destroy their own pipeline. And there wasn't even a motive to destroy that dam. And there wasn't even a motive to launch a missile into Poland. But in the past, you had drones trying to go to the Kremlin, people close to Putin, their cars being bombed, few attacks, you know what I'm saying, inside Russia with missiles. Russia retaliates and basically blows up all the commanding officers of 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 NATO for that attack that was supposed to happen in the springtime. Do you think this was a plan B? You know, that even Russia themselves have a deep state. And the reason being I'm sitting there and I'm saying this is, number one is I love America. America first, all the way. You know what I'm saying? MAGA. But I'm not Democrat or Republican. I'm independent. I can care which party that you're in, to be honest with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going by the cards that's dealt to me. You know? So that being said, could this be a plan B, as in for the deep state? Because now you want this army to sit there and go. They want to march on. They want to march to blame Moscow and take money and take the Kremlin over. You know what I'm saying? And through China, they said it's going to fail anyways. The Russian army ain't going to sit there and go against their own just because you have these crazy imbeciles doing it. But the funny thing about it is that they're sitting there saying the same thing with that they would say to Trump. Oh, he wants to be in history. He wants this. He wants the power and all that stuff like that. And it's the same. It's the same tactics and what they're doing to Trump. And to me, that's like a dead giveaway. You know, I mean, if you put the way they attack Trump and the way they are now attacking Putin, it's exact tit for tat. And that smells like, somebody's desperate. You know, somebody's really, really, really desperate. You know, that we really do have something evil, nefarious on both sides. On both sides. And that's real talk. You know, we have all these we have all these truths, excuse me, we have all these truths, you know what I'm saying, right before our eyes. It's all happening, you know? And then right here, you know what I'm saying, the very thing, you know, that's really, really going down is this book right here. You know, this is what they're trying to implement. What does it say? The New World Order. Family homosexual marriages will be legalized. Parents will not be allowed to raise their children. The state will. All women will be employed by the state and not allowed to be homemakers. Divorce will become increasingly easy and monogamous marriage will slowly phase out. The workplace. The government will become the owner of all facets of production. The private ownership of property will be outlawed. Religion will be outlawed. And the believers will either be eliminated or imprisoned. There will be a new religion, the worship of man and his mind, and will believe in the new religion. Wow, dude. Wow. You know, I mean, this right here, might as well put this up because I'm gonna look, man. I'm just stating facts here. This is what the world's turning to. You know, I mean, everything I'm showing you, and there's gonna be these different subjects. It's going to do. It's going to go everywhere because that's how the news is going. It's going everywhere. You know. Here, you know what I mean, and then we'll get back to Russia. We'll get back to Russia. You know, but remember this. Let's see.
Living in some very strange but important times. The fall of humanity is unfolding right in front of our very faces. We are slowly watching society crumble as a new order of life is rising. They are removing Christ from our world, replacing him with Lucifer right in front of the masses. Sadly, most of the world isn't showing any resistance. We must ask ourselves, why is all this happening now? The answer is because we're at the cusp of massive change. Ever since 2020, things have taken a dark turn, and we began to see the effects of the agenda the elite have been pushing for ages. This is the moment in time the elite have been waiting for. Recently, we have been seeing massive strategic attacks on Jesus, who for many like myself represents God and salvation. We have been seeing the mocking of Christ within the music industry, with artists like Kendrick Lamar showing himself wearing a crown of thorns, or even the Baby, who showed himself crucified in one of his music videos. Nas also did it as well, and so did Kanye West. They all chose to mock Christ, while their fans just sat there and allowed it. They mock Christ in Hollywood, always painting religion as the enemy. Like we saw in the Disney movie Hocus Pocus 2, they essentially blame the church for making the witches evil. They mock God in fashion with the Jesus shoes made by Mischief. The shoes came equipped with an inverted cross to further disrespect God. The masses are allowing the elite to disrespect our God because of the agenda that has consumed them. A perfect example of the attack on God has to be the actions done by the group that calls themselves the Sister of Perpetual Indulgence, a drag queen group that dresses up in drag while they pretend to be pastors and priests. They're also known for hosting events that mock Christ and those that follow them with their performances. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of these people, but they truly take the mockery of Jesus to new heights. This organization is literally the most disrespectful group I have ever seen in my life. This group is known to routinely participate in mockery of Jesus. In this video of the organization, we see members mocking the crucifixion of Christ to an extreme new level. In the video, we see a person on the cross, while another person can be seen dancing provocatively on the man on the cross. They are openly disrespecting God and truly represent the Antichrist. What they are doing on the cross is very Antichrist. This is being done in a public street while people cheer them on. Kids are even exposed to these people dancing like this. In this video, a woman confronts one of the members of the organization, questioning the person on why they mock Christ, and this was their response.
I'm using satire.
You're absolutely mocking when you put Jesus on a cross and you pole dance on.
Like our bullies, you are putting words in my mouth. I really don't.
Everybody's seen it. Everybody has seen it.
Yes, everyone has seen the satire that we do, and describe it in these terms that make them.
I am telling you, as a Christian, that is extremely, extremely offensive. When I see my God on the cross mocked.
You're using your God to make me look bad, to make me look foolish, to beat me up.
Why didn't you just say, yeah, that was wrong? You could just say, yeah, that was wrong.
Not wrong to hippie, gay, and trans. How dare you, madam? How dare you shame us? How dare you shame us for our own Pride Festival, madam?
These cats are demonic, man.
We're on a public street.
Pride, yes, in the middle of Hollywood, in the Pride Festival, when we should all be celebrating. We can have differences, and you can tell I'm angry. We should be able to talk about it.
Why are you angry about me saying, look, I'm a Christian? When you put someone mimicking Jesus on a cross and pole dance him, that's offensive to me. That is deeply offensive. Why is that wrong to you for me to say that?
We're not making a mockery of them. Satire is not making a mockery of someone to offend those people. That's offensive.
But I'm telling you, as a Christian, that's how it is interpreted, because that's what it is. You can sit here all day and say, that's not what we're doing, that's not what we're doing, but that is.
You heard for yourself. This person claims that they are not mocking Christ. They're just doing satire. When the woman explains to this person that their actions are actually offending her due to her spiritual belief, he responds by claiming she is now using her spiritual beliefs to attack his preferences, which makes zero sense. How is there stating that they're mocking her Lord and Savior, attacking their beliefs? This is the world we live in. This person wants to be respected for their preferences and what they do in private, but anything said against their belief is looked at as hate speech. This same person can then go mock Christ and disrespect the religion of many, and that is not considered hateful. They disrespected us while facing zero consequences. If we tell them that they're offending us for mocking our God, they tell us that we're spreading hate speech. Do you see how Lucifer plays the game? He uses confusion to trick the world into hating Christ. These people who are the villains are trying to paint themselves as the heroes. As of recent, the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence have been in the headlines after they were invited and honored at a Dodgers Pride Night game. On June 16th, the Dodgers invited the organization and honored them by awarding them the Community Hero Award. This action alone not only lets you know what side the Dodgers and the MLB are on, but it shows that they are painting those representing themselves as the Antichrist as the heroes. They honored the group that mocks Jesus, giving them an award, calling them a hero. There were hundreds of people protesting outside of the Dodger Stadium, people who were offended by the organization, disrespecting the God who created us. I am not at all surprised the Dodgers and the MLB invited the organization and gave them an award for mocking Christ, as baseball is a sport created by Freemasons and ran by them too. I have found so much evidence that proves baseball is a Masonic sport, just like the rest of them. Even the baseball field is shaped like the Masonic square and compass on purpose. You can especially notice this behind the second base. Many of the rules and traditions of baseball come directly from Masonry. Even many of the biggest players in the league have been high-degree Freemasons. I'm not going to break it all down in this video, as I think I should make a full video on baseball. If you guys want to see that, comment baseball below. It's obvious what's currently going on. They are showing us the Antichrist through their actions. The Dodgers knew exactly what this organization represented. They still invited them and gave them an award, calling them a hero. How is it possible for an organization that mocks Christ in such a disturbing way to be considered heroes? This is honestly all getting out of hand if you were to ask me. Not that long ago, we were talking about Target hiring the Satanic Pride designer who had made shirts that said Satan respects pronouns. And then last week, we spoke about SatanCon, how they had a whole event where they were worshiping Satan and people were claiming that they didn't worship Satan, but they were there screaming "Hail Satan" while ripping up pages of the Bible. These are the times that we're currently in. And it's hard to deny this. It's hard to unsee it. Where anywhere you turn, you're seeing the agenda unfold right in front of your faces. They're coming after our children in schools with this same agenda, and we're seeing it with a rapid increase. It's happening more and more each day.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree. Seeing that was very sad and disturbing. I understand
And
that the
shout out to
Dodgers might have
Truth
wanted
Talk,
to
man.
be
They do
inclusive,
great.
but like
They
you
do
said,
great.
these people
Thing.
that they
Please
invited
subscribe
are
to
known
them.
for these type of performances. So I think if they weren't trying to offend people who believe in God, they would have done better research and not have invited these particular people. But we know the agenda that they're pushing, and we know that they didn't care about who they were offending. And like we see time and time again, I feel like every other month I am on here talking about how they are pushing the satanic agenda, how they are doing all of this evil stuff in front of our faces, and they say it's for shock value. But at this point right here, after these past few months of the things that we've seen, it is no longer shock value. This is the stuff that they're pushing on us. They want everybody to turn their backs against God.
A great point that you say that, because they actually met controversy at first when they announced that they were inviting the organization to honor them at the Pride Night. They met a lot of resistance, as many people who believe in God were telling the Dodgers that they were going to boycott this event. Due to backlash from the LGBTQ community, they decided to re-invite the organization to once again honor them at the event. And it's also being reported that they honored them 1 hour before the first pitch was even thrown. So there was not that many people in the field, but still, to invite them, put them on TV, let this moment be shown, and give them an award calling them heroes. What have they done to be heroes? And they're going to say charities and all this, but we know that the Masons do charities too, to hide the dirty that they do in the lodge. That's the truth. We know that these people have an alternative reason for doing what they do.
Yeah, and I just don't understand why they felt that that act was a way to honor Pride. I don't understand why they feel the need to disrespect Jesus and God to get their point across. Mind you, they're
Exactly.
putting on this act in a public space where children are being invited to, with no consideration of anybody else who is being there. They chose that this would be the appropriate thing to put on.
But you know, we have been seeing them aiming for children for a while now. Like, we've seen the drag queen story times and all this that's been happening all over the country. You know, several people been posting it on social media, or what's going on in the whole entire state of California with all the laws and all the things that they're passing over there. We see an agenda happening clearly. They don't care if kids are around. Their goal is to make sure kids are around. Those are the ones that they want to expose this to. The kids are going to be the leaders of the new world. So they have to make sure they plant this agenda, this seed into their brain early. So by the time they make it there, by the time they're the leaders, they are standing for this. And that's exactly what we see happening now. And this is all so sad, because if we stand up and try to defend ourselves by saying that this must stop, we're called hateful and ignorant and told that we don't understand these people. But the thing is, we're not going out of our way to disrespect anything that they believe in. We're living our lives. They're going out of their way to mock our God, the God that we call our Savior, the God that we respect and that we give our worship to. They're choosing to mock that. How is that acceptable in any way? No one is telling them not to do anything. What they want to do in their private lives, that's on them. That's between their relationship with God or whatever they believe in. But what I believe in is that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. And when I see him being mocked on a cross, I feel completely disrespected. And just like they would feel disrespected if I said something that they deemed inappropriate towards what they believe in. It's just incorrect that they want us to sit here and sit back and not defend our God while they make fun of him, while they disrespect him. I don't think it's acceptable, and I'm going to use my platform to speak about it. And most likely this video is going to get no views because they don't want this message out there. But that's not my point. I have to stand up for what I believe in. And I believe this is truly incorrect. I believe this is disrespectful in every single way. And it has no purpose but the purpose of disrespecting our God. We're seeing the rise of the Antichrist. What they were doing on that cross, that was the Antichrist. What Kendrick Lamar showed us, what the Baby showed us, Nas, Kanye West, all these rappers, all these artists, they showed us the same thing. They're showing us the rise of the Antichrist that they have unleashed on our world. So many people are okay with this because they don't understand what's going on. They have been manipulated into thinking that this is the right thing. But this is the agenda that's been constructed to destroy us.
Yeah, I see exactly where you're coming from, especially with them not wanting us to do anything about it. It's like them calling the kettle black. Like, you are sitting here disrespecting us, but you don't want us to disrespect you. And I feel like we shouldn't. I definitely agree. Nobody should be disrespecting anybody. But what I don't seem to understand is why they all want to mock religion. That is not something that you mock. And it's not just religion as a whole. They mock Christianity the most. They're constantly mocking the Christian Jesus and God. It just seems to keep getting worse. And not a lot of people are standing up and speaking about it. This incident specifically, I have not heard a lot of people talking about this, which you would think would be a big uproar.
It's truly sad that there's this many people out there that are confused. It's truly sad that they would sit there and mock God, disrespect other people's beliefs, and think that there's nothing wrong with them. They think that it's okay, and they call it satire, but I call it mockery. I call it disrespect. And honestly, it shows you what moment in time we're in. We're so close to them unveiling the New World Order. We're living in the New World Order. This is the New World. It's all been happening after 2020. And that's not a coincidence. That was
And it's not a coincidence what's going on. It's not a coincidence whatsoever. I mean, it gets rougher and rougher and rougher and rougher. Because I mean, when it's all boiled down to, man, to be honest with you, man, it's the devil. It's straight out the devil, dude. You know, I mean, it's playing so beautifully. You know, it's playing so beautifully, man, of what's going on. You know, especially the way people in general are acting. I mean, I can sit there, right? I can go, wait, one verse. Okay. Hold on one second. Okay. I'll go to one verse. Uh, you know what? Okay. Oh, okay. Hold on, hold on. Maybe it is that Timothy. Oh, what was it? Second Timothy then? Hold on, I'm just trying to find this. I gotta find it, man. Hold on. I know it's somewhere. Here, I'll show you what I'm doing. Yeah. This is where I am. Um, Oh, wow. I guess it doesn't work right. So anyways, let's go to the next one. Okay. Russia, Russia, Russia. And this man loves war. He's a warmonger. And they got a dirty bomb. I know they got a dirty bomb somewhere. Shout out Just Informed Talk. Let's see, wait, the video for it. Oh, yeah. Well, I tell you what, though, man, in all aspects, I think I'm getting all tired. But anyways, look at what's going on, man. There's a whole bunch of stuff, and I can't get this all working right on my computer again. I don't know what's happening. But I'll check y'all out. Peace. I'm out.
Flat night in my car, man, put on a lip 12 o'clock. Now, you don't TV, girl, then.